Hey guys, so I am on here today to talk about an astrology aspect that's happening today, October 8th, that I feel like really aligns with just some of the core values I hold as a therapist and our kind of journey into ourselves. So today, the moon moved into Taurus, and when the moon moved into Taurus, it created a T square with Mercury, who is over in Scorpio, and Pluto, who is in Aquarius, all in the early degrees of fixed signs. So, what this means is that there's a real grittiness, tension, and an invitation because when we have these squares, there's a opportunity to take action, and there's also an opposition. So there's also opportunity coming from a circumstance, possibly externally, for you to dive deeper within yourself. This gets into even more of those kind of concepts of shadow work that we hear a lot out there in Instagram and social media therapy talk and new age stuff. There's an extra emphasis on this as well because Black Moon is also hanging out right there with Mercury in the early degrees of Scorpio. So Mercury came into, we talked about this in the monthly overview, but Mercury came into Scorpio going into the depths. Mercury, our processes, how we think about things, how we conceptualize things, and making a square, attention, action oriented experience with Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, Hades, saying, let's go into your shadows. Let's confront ourselves. And I think self-confrontation is a big theme that often comes up in Scorpio season, just in general, because a lot of planets will move through Scorpio when the sun moves through Scorpio because they stay kind of close to the sun. So when we think about self-confrontation, I mean, that's truly what shadow work is, right? And you're never done. So if you feel like, oh, did all my shadow work, don't need to worry about that anymore. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's definitely not how shadow work um, plays out. It's a continuous journey into oneself, and we will never be done. We will never master this. There are always going to be aspects of your shadow that you haven't uncovered. There are always going to be areas of your heart that you've yet to discover. And sometimes that can feel exhausting to some parts, but maybe exciting to more adventurous parts. But we have so many blind spots. We can't always see our own shadow. And this is where that moon a couple days ago also helped us out because it's on a relational axis with the Aries and the Libra axis. That Aries full moon was really illuminating how we show up in relationships. And Libra is sometimes referred to as the sacred mirror. And so if we think about the ways in which we learn through the other, and we often do this through projection and triggers, where we project out our stuff onto somebody else because we don't want to own our shadow. And actually, the less awareness we have of working with our darkness and our shadow and our blind spots, the more likely we are to be projecting stuff onto other people around us. It's when we can get curious, go, oh, why did that trigger me? And what do I need to explore within myself that's making a home for this, that there's a sticky spot within me. But self-confrontation is really, really powerful if we can do it without going into shame, because that's the ticket. If you go into shame, this whole part of your brain goes offline. And then we're back in the younger parts of our brain and we're not really learning anything. We're not able to integrate anything. We really want to stay in our grown-up parts of our brain when we are being curious about our own shadows. And if you're curious about, how many times can you say curious? If you want to understand more about your shadow, look at your triggers. That's a direct line and trailhead into your shadow work. So anything that comes up in you that isn't, the first feeling is not compassion, there's a shadow. And again, no shame. We will never have this done. Like there will always be things that we're learning through experiences and the world and the systems we're a part of and the communities that we operate within that will continually help wake us up. This is the service that we offer each other in relationships. And oftentimes that is through kind of discomfort and confrontation. I heard something the other day, and I just love this because I feel like it's always worth it, right? It's always worth it to be curious about your shadow and go, huh, what's going on with me? What can I look at within myself, and just kind of remove the focus from the other, till we understand more about what's going on with ourselves. And this doesn't mean that we become boundaryless, that people stomp all over us, we expose ourselves to harm and abuse. Absolutely not. And actually, the more shadow work you do, the less tolerant you will be of receiving abuse from other people. And so, what I read the other day, and I just love this, and I cannot remember who said it. I'll need to look it up, and I'll post that in the caption. But he said that humans were put on this earth to gawk. And what he is speaking to is awe and wonder. And I feel like it's something that we lose, as life continues on, as we have all these demands and all these different roles, and we feel like we're so separate from everybody else, and we've lost that interdependence connection with this earth and communities and other peoples, that we lose our awe and wonder, which is so nourishing. I mean, that is a soul food to be able to be in wonder and awe. And Mother Nature provides that to us in abundance. And when we recognize how interdependent we are with the earth, we often can move into places of awe and wonder, which is gawking, to see a beautiful flower and just be like, wow, and to really take that in, to gawk at it. And that's our purpose. But we piled on all this stuff, all these different burdens that we've picked up along the way. And we can peel those off through that self-confrontation. But we have to be brave because it can feel so messy, right? To look at ourselves and to recognize our part to cause harm, our part to are self-absorbed, our little narcissistic flavored parts that we have within, because we all have them. Okay. Like we all have these aspects to us on some varying level. And the more we can recognize that, the more we stretch our atmosphere, the more spaciousness we have in order to feel compassion for other people. And when instead of something being triggering, the first knee-jerk reaction then becomes compassion. And that's when you've really started to integrate pieces of your shadow. And you're able to hold your own coherence. That heart brain coherence, like that awareness from your heart space, and being able to breathe in and out of your heart and say, I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to heal. I am a source of infinite love. I am sovereign and I am free. And being able to kind of stay in your coherence. And the more you do your own shadow work and you alleviate these densities, fears, these programs around scarcity and competition and, all those different aspects, me against you kind of stuff, very much Aries, Libra moon stuff that we just had, the more we're able to hold that frequency. And then that's when just your presence becomes a healing aspect. You don't even have to say anything when you're around other people if you hold your coherence and you hold that high vibration of compassion and love and sovereignty. And of course, there's always going to be people who we struggle with, who we struggle to hold our coherence with, and they are our greatest teachers. Okay, those are the ones who are here to teach us through discomfort. So anyways, I was just thinking a lot about this black moon opposing the moon, which is our shadow work. Moon is our feelings, our subconscious territory. T squaring Lord of the Underworld, who says, come on, let's go. It's time to die and be reborn. Let's move through the transformative practice. Where are you being obsessive? Where are you being too controlling? Etc., etc. So I just want to put that out there as a little tidbit. I know I typically don't do a lot of videos, but I just felt like this one feels like a lot of people are working with this and working with their shadow right now, which is great. It's uncomfortable and can be a little messy, but ultimately it's part of our, just evolutionary growth. Like you just feel it. You feel the call to want to kind of dive into. Well, I say that. That's my own bias probably right there. Not everybody maybe wants to do that, and that's okay. Me personally, it feels like a never-ending journey, and I'm always endlessly curious to embark on the adventures. Wishing you many blessings.